Hey everyone, this is Larry. Welcome back to Today I Feel Like. Today we're going to review the Canon 16mm 2.8 RF lens for Canon mirrorless cameras. We'll go over some of the basic specs, highlights of it, and then we will talk about the good and the bad. So let's jump into it, and here we go. All right, let's go over some of the key highlights of the specs, the ones that matter most to me anyways. And this is going to be a 16mm full frame RF lens, meaning that it is made for Canon's full frame mirrorless cameras. It has a 108-degree field of view, so this is going to be a very wide lens. If you have ever used a GoPro camera, then you are familiar with that sort of very, very wide field of view, and this is going to have something pretty similar. This is also going to have a maximum aperture of 2.8, so it's going to be a pretty fast lens. It has a minimum focusing distance of 5.1 inches or 13 centimeters for all of you metrics people. It has an optical design that is made up of 9 elements in 7 groups. There is no image stabilization in the lens, but you do have image stabilization in the RF bodies for most of them, I believe, with the Canon R6 and R5 and the R3. It also has a 43mm filter size, and it weighs only 5.8 ounces or 165 grams, again, for you metrics folks out there. So yeah, those are the basic specs of the lens. Let's go ahead now and talk about some of the good and bad points that I've found about this lens while using it over the last month or so. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some of the good and bad points. And the first good point that I want to mention right up front is that this is an inexpensive lens. So if you've just dropped a few grand on a brand new Canon RF mirrorless camera, you may not have a bunch of money left over to go buy L glass, which is very, very expensive. But you can buy this 16mm 2.8 because it's only $299, which means you can get a nice piece of high quality glass for a small amount, enough that it's not going to break the bank, and you can start expanding out and building out your lens kit. Now, the next good thing about this lens is that it is small and light. You can put this on your camera and not really even notice the weight because it only weighs 5.8 ounces. That's right, this thing weighs next to nothing. So when you put it onto your camera, you can go ahead and just carry it all day, all night, and not even really notice that you have a lens on there because it weighs next to nothing. Now, the next thing that is nice about this lens is that it has a maximum aperture of 2.8, and that's going to allow you to get a nice amount of background blur, and it's going to have really nice low light performance so that you can shoot at night or in low light situations with it. Now, if you're shooting with a camera like the R6 or R5, both those cameras already have really nice low light performance, and so you add that maximum 2.8 aperture on there, in combination with that camera, and now you have a really nice low light shooter, especially if you're out at night doing street photography or something. It's really going to pair nicely with one of those cameras. Now, this feature is very, very cool, and that is the minimum focusing distance of this lens is only 5.1 inches or 13 centimeters. That means you're going to be able to get very, very close to your subjects, and with that maximum aperture of 2.8, you can really get some nice isolation and get some background blur going on. This is really, really a sweet feature to have because with a wide angle lens, sometimes you really want to isolate your subject, but it's so wide you capture everything. But being able to move up really close to your subject is going to do a lot to help with that isolation, and that 2.8 maximum aperture is going to help even more. Now, this last good point that I want to talk about is the control ring. Now, this lens is only $299, so it is very, very inexpensive, but just like all of the other Canon RF lenses, whether it be the cheapest lens, which I believe is their Canon, their 50mm 1.8, all the way up to their most expensive lens, whichever that one is, you are going to have a control ring on there that's going to allow you to do different things. You can set it up so that you can manual focus with it, or you can set it up to change your ISO or white balance or whatever else you want to change on there. You can use it to customize how your lens operates for you. All right, so now on to the bad. And the first bad point that I want to mention about this lens is that there is no weather sealing. That's right, if you plan on taking this lens into harsh conditions, whether it be moisture or dust and dirt, I would simply say don't, because you risk damaging your lens. However, this lens is so small and light that you probably won't mind carrying it in your backpack or in your camera bag and having it with you at all times anyways. So if you're going into harsh conditions, I would probably take a different lens, like an L lens, something that's weather sealed. Now, this next bad point is the build quality. And this is not to say that this is a cheap lens and it's built poorly, but it is mostly plastic. And if you're someone who's really hard on your gear, then I would say this may not be the lens for you. Now, I treat all of my stuff pretty gingerly, so I don't have those kind of issues, but I've seen some people with lenses that look like they have been really beat up and put through the ringer. If you're one of those people, this lens is probably not for you because it is mostly plastic, so if you drop it or bang it around, it's a good chance this lens is going to break on you. Now, the next bad point is, well, it's like all Canon non-L lenses, and that is it does not come with a lens hood. I just don't understand why Canon does this. Just put a lens hood in the box. Even if you have to charge us an extra 10 or 15 or 20 bucks, put the lens hood in the box so that we don't have to go out searching for one. Now, when I bought this lens, I went ahead and bought the lens hood. It's about 30 bucks or 35 bucks if you buy the Canon version, but you can also go onto Amazon and grab a off-brand lens hood for it. That's gonna cost you around 14 or 15 bucks. So I really just wish Canon would go ahead and put a lens hood in the box with it and charge us a little bit more so we don't have to go out looking for one. All right, so this last bad point is the autofocusing performance in video. Now, to be fair, the autofocusing performance for photography is absolutely wonderful with this lens. It's fast, it's accurate, it works. But for video, I have found that it's often hunting trying to find focus. And I bought this primarily to vlog with. And for me, it's just not working when I'm vlogging because too often the lens is simply hunting for focus. All right, so all in all, I have to say this is a very nice lens. It's not a premium lens, so just go into it understanding that, but it is still a very nice lens. And if all you have is a kit lens, then this can really make a really nice addition to your kit as a second lens. I also like to think of this as a going out lens or a bar lens because it's very small and light and easy to take with you. You can just grab your camera, sling it around your shoulder, and be off and running, and it's not going to be big and obtrusive. It's not going to be this gigantic lens on you that's going to cause all kinds of attention. It's just something small and light and wide so you can pretty much photograph whatever you want, and that minimum focusing distance means you can move in closer when you need to. So anyways, I'm going to leave links to this lens down below because I think it's kind of awesome and I think everyone should have one. So I'll leave one down below. I'll leave a link to it down below in the video description. I'll also leave links to my Amazon page and my social media contacts so you can reach me elsewhere. And I hope you enjoyed seeing this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and please subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram. And I am Larry with Today I Feel Like. Thanks for coming back to see me. Come back and see me soon. And until next time, love, peace, and hair grease. Peace.